Now, Inglewood, California is known for its black culture. It's the backdrop for Issa Rae's hit HBO series Insecure, and the actress has opened up a coffee shop in the city.
Ooh.
I've always wanted a coffee shop in my neighborhood. Like, coffee shops facilitate productivity in so many ways. They facilitate collaboration, and I personally have done all of my writing in coffee shops, so it always disappointed me that there weren't any that were black owned, that were even people of color owned in my neighborhood.
I still want to try that coffee shop. Now, Inglewood, California is also said to be one of the leading entertainment cities in the nation.
That's right. And here to discuss preserving the city's black culture in the midst of gentrification and re-imaging law enforcement is Mayor James T. Butts. Welcome to the Black Report, Mayor Butts.
Yes.
Hey, I am so glad to be here, you guys.
Thank you for joining us. Now, Inglewood is thriving under the leadership, right, under your leadership. And can you tell us why Inglewood will be one of the top entertainment destinations in the nation?
Well, in a 2.5-year period, we obtained the commitments of 3 professional sports franchises. The LA Philharmonic is relocating their youth orchestra program here, right across from City Hall. We're going to have the Super Bowl in 2022, the NCAA Championship Bowl game in 2023, FIFA World Cup probably in 2026, Clippers in 2024, the Summer World Olympic Games in 2028. The NFL Networks is leaving Culver City in 2022 to relocate here.
Nice.
And most importantly, the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles have moved their headquarters from Marina del Rey to Inglewood, California. So we're going to be the center of not only sports and entertainment, but youth development and culture.
And they also have a casino, Hollywood Park Casino, in
We
Inglewood.
we have the most thriving non-slot casino in the Southland here.
It's so amazing. I kind of want to pop my collar for Inglewood right now.
They're definitely holding down. Now, over the next 5 years, Inglewood is expecting some huge events. Can you please tell us about those events?
Well, basically, I did. Super Bowl 2022.
I want to go into the Olympics.
Championship Bowl game in 2023. The Summer Olympics in 2028. FIFA World Cup in 2026. Yeah, we got a couple things going on.
He said just a couple.
Things,
Couple things. A little something.
Now, the city of Inglewood is known for having a highly populated black community. Many say and believe with all of the city upgrades, gentrification will push the black community out of Inglewood. Now, what are you doing as the mayor to make sure that does not happen?
So let's talk about that.
Please.
When I took office in 2011,
Right.
we had an unemployment rate of 17.5%, one of the highest in the state of California. Our unemployment rate now is 4.7%. Probably the lowest unemployment rate for a minority majority community in the United States of America. All of our development agreements have a 35% local hire goal. So we've enforced that with certified payrolls. So basically what we have done is make sure that the community rises along with our economics. We also implemented a 3% cap on rents for the next 5 years, because in the next 5 years, we imagine there'll be somewhere on the order of 50,000 jobs, including the construction jobs that occur right across the street at the stadium, and then the Clippers arena, and then the full-time jobs. And we want local residents to be here to enjoy that local hire standard of 35%, excuse me. Okay. And right now we have 3,000 people go to work every day on the SoFi Stadium, and 1,200 of them are Inglewood residents. We also have 100 previously convicted felons working for wages somewhere between $60 and $90 an hour. Men and women that never thought that they'd ever work again, because we have a hard to hire provision in all of our contracts.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, speaking of that, of dealing with...
So there's your gentrification.
Well, what would you say if those people who are working at the SoFi Stadium and whatnot, will they be able to live in Inglewood? Will there be like rent-controlled housing? Because that's kind of a lot of issue.
Yeah, that's a lot of issues that they're dealing with right now.
Well, I just told you, we implemented a rent control cap of 3% a year, 3% per annum. And also on a per capita basis and a housing basis, we still have the most affordable housing in the South Bay.
There you go.
It's not as cheap as it was. I mean, our property values for a median valued house has gone up about 150% since the end of 2012. Still more affordable than Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, Torrance, Westchester. So it is what it is.
So nice here to say it twice. Mayor James T. Butts. Now, before you were the mayor of Inglewood, you served in law enforcement. Let's see here. You was 19 years in the Inglewood Police Department. You rose to the rank of deputy chief. You served 15 years as the chief of police for the city of Santa Monica. And you was with the LA World Airports for 5 years in charge of public safety and counterterrorism. Now you are the mayor of Inglewood. With your experience and history with law enforcement, do you think there needs to be law enforcement reform?
Now, that's like saying if there's a bad radio station or a bad television station, do all of them need to be reformed? There are certain police departments that are dinosaurs and they don't conduct their business properly. But at the same time, there's some outstanding departments. Is one of them that has grown to be that way is the City of Inglewood's Police Department. And so the issue is not reforming all of law enforcement. It's setting standards of behavior and organizational culture so that people are required to conduct their duties in a just, humane, and compassionate manner.
Do you think if they go beyond those standards, they should face punishment for that and not be protected by police unions or protected by the badge, if you will?
You know, you make an interesting point when you say protected by police unions. The rise of the power of police unions in politics because they could pool their money and endorse candidates and spend money on elections has tended to give police unions an outsized influence in the conduct of police departments and also allowed them control and power within the disciplinary process that has not been effective for a lot of police organizations. And so the issue is basically the mayors and councils that hire police chiefs. They have to hire good police chiefs and hold them accountable, not for aspirations, but for results.
Right.
You can't come in year after year and say, oh, that happened was bad, but we'll do better. Now, I find something very fascinating. So you take Minneapolis, for instance. The chief there, been with the department since 1989. He headed internal affairs for them. He was an operations commander. He sued the department about 1987 or something like that, won around $800,000, and he's been the chief for 2 years. Now, here's one thing I'm going to tell you. This guy Chauvin that was involved in the George Floyd incident. There's no one in that department that didn't know the kind of person that he was. There's no one in that department that didn't know that he targeted African Americans or that he was unjust to them. But he went on and on and on. I understand he had somewhere in the order areas 15 to 18 complaints. Now, some of them may have been being late for briefing. Some may have been, things not related to use of force. But I'm going to tell you this, they knew. Now, I'll tell you this, they fired him the day after this happened. I've never heard of anybody not getting due process, but they were able to fire him the day after it happened. They could fire him the day after this happened. They could have disciplined and trained him or removed him from the organization. Or he finally did something so egregious that they had to get rid of him. So this is the point that I'm making. It's on the chief of police. It's on the city council and the mayor. They're the ones responsible for the behavior. Now, you can have bad things happen and you deal with them. We've had bad things happen here and we dealt with it. But you can't let people go on and on and on.
Correct. Facts.
Now, Mayor Butts, we talked about, we just spoke on reform. How do you feel, and what are your thoughts regarding the call to defund the police?
Well, let me tell you something. Something as ill thought out as that has got to be dangerous. You can't just throw out a term like defund the police and not have a plan as to what that means. Well, why would you, for instance, in Inglewood, we're in our 8th consecutive year of the lowest crime rate in the history of the city. We had 2 murders last year, 2. We had less murders than Torrance, Santa Monica, or Pasadena. We have cut the gang profile dramatically here with task force operations, targeted on career criminals. So to blindly say, oh, well, let's defund the police, I would tell you we're insane to do that here. Now, if you haven't thought out your policing strategies, if your police officers are behaving in a manner that's contrary to what you want in your community, then maybe you need to reallocate monies to programs that you think are going to better facilitate quality of life in your city.
Right.
But here, we're not going to defund the police department. They're doing what the community wants.
Mayor, but do you think when people say defund the police, because that's kind of a blanket statement, I will agree with you there, but when you kind of get in the depths of it and really read it, it's more or less defund the militarization of the police. Like, police shouldn't be military. Police should have situations where there's tanks pulling up or SWAT vehicles or flashbangs, these things that are used against unarmed protesters. What would you say to that as far as kind of getting rid of that and police not needing those type of instruments?
I would say this. Every one of those implements that you talked about have already been purchased, and you couldn't defund them.
They got receipts? Could they
unless
take it back,
unless you're gonna sell them on eBay or something.
Right.
Etsy.
We have to be logical. You know what
Right.
you're talking about? What you're talking about is prioritizing your expenditures from here on to produce outcomes that you think are going to improve the quality of life and livability in your community. And see, when you get caught up into slogans, you seldom are going to be effective in producing the outcomes that the community really wants.
Now, Mayor, do you think it's important for officers to live in the communities that they serve? How important is that?
That's nice, but it's far more important that the officers that you select are compassionate, professional, intelligent people that are taught to appreciate the impact that they can have on the lives of people, in some instances for decades or maybe the remainder of their lives, by the discretionary decisions they make in the application of their powers of arrest.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Are you concerned about COVID-19 affecting the immediate work and growth of Inglewood?
I mean, it's changed, at least temporarily, the whole dynamics of the economy nationwide. It particularly is going to have an impact on cities that have a large entertainment, and that's what sports are, entertainment, a large entertainment base for their economies, because you receive ticket taxes based upon the tickets that are sold, concession taxes, parking taxes, and then the ancillary purchases that are made when people come into your community that are here for a sporting or entertainment event. So yes, it's going to have an impact, definitely in the short run. But here's what I believe. I don't believe that this is an extinction level event that's going to end life on this planet as we know it. There's going to be a vaccine developed, or we're going to adjust. But the human beings are a pretty resilient species, and so life will go on. But in the short term, it's going to have an impact.
Definitely. Well, congratulations to you and your city, man.
Yes.
You're definitely putting on for Inglewood. Thank you for joining us on the Black Report today, Mayor Butts, and you're welcome back anytime, all right?
Anytime.
Yes.
Hey, I loved it. This is great, all right?
Inglewood, up to lots of good, baby.
Thank you, Mayor.
Inglewood, hashtag Inglewood Rising, you guys.
Inglewood
Oh,
Rising.
yes.
And the only thing that's changed in Inglewood is everything. All right.
Right.
Love that.
Ain't
Love
no
that.
I
beautiful.
would. Still Inglewood, baby.
Absolutely.